Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your May forecast for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising, and Capricorn Moon. So what's at the heart of the situation for you? You have this Temperance card, so for some of you there may be a strong tie to a Sagittarius person. But for many of you, this represents the need to compromise, to have some kind of self-restraint or self-control. That may be, watching extravagance, spending too much, overreaching, pushing boundaries, whether you need to abstain from alcohol, because there's a need for healing. And for some of you, this is an actual connection to a healer. Whatever the case, you find yourself in a circumstance where it's now time to have an important conversation, perhaps something where you've been procrastinating or putting something off. It's time to get real and get very direct. So someone may be doing that with you, speaking some truths, putting some things out on the table, and maybe you're going to differ in your assessment of what's going on, but you're going to have to find that middle ground. You may be trying to heal a relationship or a circumstance or physically, and right now you're testing the waters. Perhaps this is to figure out if you're even compatible with one another. So now is the time to be honest, to not suppress anything that needs to be said. It could be that, some divine power is also playing an intervention within your circumstance. You have the devil here, which, ties to Capricorn. So there may be some kind of obligation, obstruction, hindrance, responsibility. For some of you, it is an obligation. Maybe it's a work obligation. Maybe you work in a situation where you cook or you work as a healer. Maybe there are some delays to healing. There may be some parental concerns. You may have to compromise as parents. Whatever it is, though, it's testing you in some way. Maybe there's a desire to help others, yet there's also a fear, a pessimism about whether you're going to be used or exploited in some way. So for some of you, you're having to look at where perhaps there has been some overindulgence that has now become an obsession, a compulsion, or some kind of self-perpetuating bondage through a bad habit or negative, unhealthy attachment. For some of you, this may be, a strong focus on business. The devil can easily, of course, give way to greed and selfishness. It becomes, something he's bound to, the material world, physical pleasure, material pleasure above all else. The devil may be sexuality, and maybe you're looking at whether you're sexually compatible. So you are exploring something. Pushing the boundaries, wakening up to new perceptions, going beyond your present state. And that may mean an obligation to travel. But there could be some travel restrictions, challenges, delays that you have to contend with. Age or wisdom or experience may be part of your circumstances. Now, in the past, you had an obligation that may have been tied to work or an authority figure or some institution of authority. It could have been a government, a bank, the company you work for. Perhaps you are a leader. You have a lot of responsibility because you're the person in charge. The buck stops with you. There could also be issues of abuse of power, where it could have been physical abuse, verbally abusive, emotionally abusive. Someone is taking their power and being dominating or aggressive. Now, perhaps you have more responsibility because you've been given some authority, maybe a promotion, or you're moving up the ladder of success, you're working on a project. There's a strong determination to create something of lasting value. And for some of you, that means your security is in focus. Maybe there's something going on where you feel like your work has been compromised in some way, or you have felt like you've been taken advantage of. The Emperor also may have a strong tie to an Aries person. So this is about taking charge. It's about accountability. And you may be very motivated to do more, be more, in order to provide for your own success. You are at the beginning or the end of a stressful situation. And because your security is so important to you now, you won't hesitate to perhaps have that direct conversation. You want to know where you stand with the situation and where you're headed, because you recognize that perhaps something is not on solid footing, or you need to take charge to understand the sacredness of a situation. And of course, healing issues and the current climate we're enduring highlights where we are in the game right now, how very sacred life is and how fragile those circumstances are. So you may be taking charge of your obligations, or you are restricted in your power or authority to handle or do something that you'd like to do. There's some kind of delays. And this may tie to either another earth sign person or yourself. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So there's a strong focus on material assets. And again, you have to make sure that you're not yielding to some kind of petty temptation. This is a period where you've got a lot of influence. You seem to be able to say the right thing to the right people at the right time. So you have to make sure that you're acting with integrity. This is a time where decency above all else is required, because issues of integrity are being scrutinized, and you may be called to task. You may have to face the music regarding some obligation. Now this may tie to some kind of investment, assets, real estate, money. The King of Pentacles is very focused on acquisition. And so you may be focused on real estate or purchases, your assets, your possessions. But if you notice on this card, the King of Pentacles can very easily get bogged down in the clutter of the physical, whether that's the physical indulgence, pleasure in the senses, or simply being extravagant, spending too much money and focusing only on that bottom line. This is a very practical king who in some instances he wants to monitor every penny. In other instances, perhaps he's gone too far. He's put his family at risk. So the King of Pentacles in the positive means that you're taking charge of your obligations. You're looking for new ways to, perhaps build business, new opportunities, and perhaps to establish some more emotionally secure relationships. This is a time where you don't want the fly by night. You're looking for the tried and the true. Somebody that's dependable, reliable, honest. And perhaps you're seeking that in a relationship or in a circumstance. Now, negatively, somebody has been taking unnecessary risks. They've been pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope. In which case the King of Pentacles can become so selfish that that's the most important thing. He becomes critical, controlling. There's a strong focus on abundance. So maybe you have a lot of business obligations, there's a lot of work to be done, or this king is totally focused on what he can get his hands on and what he can keep. He wants to be in charge. He's willing to dominate, brutalize others in order to, meet whatever he's tempted by. Now, presently, there are issues connected to assistance, perhaps resurrecting a partnership, a collaboration of some sort that would give you some help. Now, this may mean help financially, emotionally, could be information, perhaps passing along knowledge, mentoring. So you may have a business advisor, or you may be playing the role of a business mentor. You may be involved in some kind of charitable situation, whether it's an actual institution. Maybe you're getting some help from the government. Maybe you are offering your services. Now, in the worst case scenario, this means that there's a lack of balance. Somebody is tempted to take more than what belongs to them. So someone may be in charge of the purse strings and metering out money as they deem appropriate, as they see fit. Maybe you're only getting pennies for your work. So you're looking at really what is fair. Are you getting what you deserve? Are you getting what's due? And issues where somebody may be keeping you on your knees in order to forever need their help. So, then it's not charity. It's an oppression. It's power. So, either way, you're looking at resources. Are you being passed over for a promotion or work or help or support? Is somebody else getting what you deserve? Or again, this is reviving a relationship in order to get some kind of help. It's also a healing card. So you may have some kind of obligation connected to healing, whether that is physical or emotional. Now, you also have this Eight of Wands. So communication, movement, things that occur quickly are taking place. So maybe you need to help someone, and maybe you need to get a move on to do it, or you're getting that help. It could be to travel. It could be some kind of situation that's coming to a head. Someone may feel overwhelmed. This is a period where you're going to have to expect the unexpected in yourself, situations, and other people, because something is being revealed through movement, communication. Now, it could be that you have to hurry up, get some help. You want to launch something that you've been working on. And the time is right to present it, to put it out there. Maybe you're dealing with the internet. Maybe you're putting your ideas out there, or some kind of response is coming back to you. In other cases, you may feel overwhelmed. Something has occurred so quickly and you're unprepared for it. And now you're having to play catch up. In the future, you have this Queen of Wands. This is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this queen. You have the Wisdom card with this. So she's steering matters her way, using her intuition. This is a queen who's very wise. She relies on her instincts, and they're usually on point. She's very passionate, very motivated. So there could be something that you are putting your passion into. That may be a relationship. It could be a project, business. This is someone who promotes and protects. So if she believes in it, she's willing to go the distance, all the way. She's got deep feelings, and she's very comfortable with herself. And she can go too far. She can push some buttons, rub people the wrong way. This is a period where you're going to be attracting a lot of attention, a variety of business partners, suitors, people that are interested in you and where you align with their interests. So there's shared enthusiasm, that shared spark of motivation, that search for adventure. So you're in alignment with others in a very positive way. And again, maybe this is some kind of teaching situation. You're sharing your wisdom. It may have to do with travel or people at a distance. Negatively, this queen can be very bitchy, a temper tantrum throwing person, know-it-all, seeking too much attention, wants to be the center always. So you may be trying to steer matters your way, to suit you. And perhaps you're looking to become the center of attention, or you're connecting to someone. Perhaps this is a person who needs help, and this is the burden, the obligation that you're having to consider, and where you can compromise or meet in the middle. You also have the King of Wands. So perhaps there's a focus on a couple. This may be parents or a power couple, or maybe you're trying to steer matters your way with the boss or somebody that's going to promote something. There's a need to take charge. So we have two cards that have to do with leadership, taking charge of a situation. This is another person who's very passionate, very forward-thinking, very focused on his ambitions, his ego, his desires. So he's taking charge to make a decision. And the decision centers around compatibility, healing, taking charge of a situation. Maybe you're negotiating, having that frank, honest discussion about where you stand in a matter. And you have the Eight of Pentacles. For some of you, this may be about work, perhaps training for something. Perhaps, the obligation is to learn a craft, a skill. Maybe you're an apprentice. So you could be teaching, or you could be taking a class, learning something. You're putting a lot of diligence and effort into something, putting those final details on it. And it could be a labor of love. Now, for some of you, this may be a focus on the details. Maybe you want to move up the ladder of success. Maybe you're focused on the bills, the power to pay a bill, or the strength of your skills, your knowledge, your expertise, your craftsmanship. So are you doing good work? Are you putting out what you want? Are you having to do something over and over and over? Now, maybe you're in a field where consistency is important, output. Maybe you're measured by that, the consistency of a product. Maybe you're trying to move up the corporate ladder. Maybe you're too focused on the details. You're getting lost in the details, and maybe that's slowing you down. But also, someone's trying to be in control, and maybe there's some criticism of your work or something that you've done. So there could be some fault finding, some nitpicking, where you have to go back and redo something. So this is about putting in the energy, the effort, paying attention to the small details, and getting ready to put something out there that would establish you financially or emotionally. Now, this is driven by this Page of Swords. It could be connection to a younger person. This may be an air sign person, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. Could be somebody that's not quite experienced, and that's why there's some training, some delays, or some taking charge, teaching, helping, assisting. Somebody's trying to find something out. Now, somebody could be prying into your affairs, or vice versa. But this is coming up with some answers, some solutions, and maybe, a quick wit, brilliant ideas, something that's fresh, original. Some of you may have to deal with some paperwork. Could be checks, papers, documents, whatever it is. You're focused on gathering information. You could find yourself in mediation or negotiations with regard to something, some kind of arbitration. Maybe you're the middle person where you're settling a dispute. And as long as it doesn't touch on you personally, you're going to be able to be objective. The minute it gets personal, though, you're going to be way more emotional, perhaps even angry. You may be dealing with people who are very aggressive, sharp-tongued. So, again, this is about trying to find something out. Communication skills, the ability to research, to come up with answers, to gain perhaps some form of recognition. You're trying to find out something, perhaps some kind of paper, language skills, something is in focus. That's the center of attention. Or somebody is angry because of some obliviousness, some self-absorption, selfishness on someone's part. Now, there's an issue about cooperation here, getting together with others. This may tie to counseling, therapy, the court system, or, looking at issues where there needs to be some form of improvement to property, a project, a relationship, or to self. And you may be looking at, what's wrong, looking at the work, criticizing it, looking at the details, trying to get it just right, just so. And you may feel you can't make much progress because you've got some hangers-on, some people that are too needy, they want too much, they're emotionally insecure, they're codependent. So you're looking at trying to improve. In some cases, if this is attached to property, maybe you're getting some help. You may have some issues or property damage or repairs that need to be addressed. There are also discussions taking place, negotiations. You've put something out there and you're waiting for that ship to come in. Maybe it's about commerce or opportunities or the future, which means that you need to focus on the present in order to make something happen later. There's not a lot of emotion in your circumstances. Somebody may be acting like the devil, very pessimistic, very cynical, very uncaring. So there could be a lack of sensitivity, or somebody has put on their thinking cap and they've decided to push emotions aside to be more logical or analytical. Now, there's something tied here to good travels. Luck is going to come to you through your friends, through your associates, but there is some turmoil that you're dealing with, some kind of chaos in your situation, some outer forces that are weighing in on your circumstances, some changes that are coming because of other people. Again, there's a need to focus on those details. Something about timing is very critical. Now, with 2 kings here, this is about a strong partnership, something profitable, a contract or a deal, or where you're at odds with someone else. The King of Wands is ambitious. He wants to take charge. He wants to go with it. The King of Pentacles is more reserved, more dogmatic, because he doesn't want to lose anything or any part of what he has acquired. Now, for some of you, this is centering on teaching or perhaps parent-child interaction. It may be you're involved with somebody where there's a great age difference or a great role or power difference. There are also issues connected to an attraction. Again, a couple, or possibly a well-established or long-term relationship. This may be your parent or your parents. For some of you, this is about a romantic relationship where there's a choice among lovers. There's competition for favors. There's some rivalry, some jealousy. Or there are multiple ways of acting or attitudes towards someone. Now, you have, well, first I want to say this Page of Swords is very focused on this Emperor. So he's trying to find something out, something about work, authority, power, the government, where he stands. So there may be paperwork or issues connected to this Emperor. You have 3 majors, the Devil, the Emperor, and Temperance. So the keys for those cards to help you overcome any challenge would be to maintain your integrity, your sense of decency, because you could very easily yield to temptation. So, being truthful and honest and stepping out of scarcity or fear mentality is going to be very important. The Emperor says leadership is important. And how do you lead? The best leadership is by example, not domination, because that would mean tyranny. So somebody may be abusing their power. They may have to face the music with regard to that. Or maybe there's been some indecision. The delays have come because somebody doesn't want to step up to the plate and claim their natural authority. You also have this Temperance. Again, that's about that self-restraint. Moderation is key right now, because you could easily make a misstep, a misjudgment, and go too far or perhaps not far enough. Now, the 8 means that there's some ambitious developments taking place for you that have an impact on your long-range future, your destiny, your goals for the long term, and the players that are tied to that. So what is your question? How can I be more flexible right now? What are you trying to control? Maybe it's time to let go. Let love move through you today and trust the outcome will be for your highest good. So you need to remind yourself that you're safe. Again, this Emperor indicates that some control issues are coming to the surface that may make you or someone else angry. There's a need to compromise, find some middle ground. Your security is at stake, and that may drive you to be petty, critical, and controlling, or you may be dealing with someone like that. And the answer is listen and learn. So this is a period where it's way more important for you to take in. So trying to find answers or solutions means paying attention, listening, learning to what others can offer, give, how they can help you. And that may allow you to influence the situation for your greater good.